Listen, this is I hate to keep pulling memes, but they can't keep getting away with this.
Yeah.
And they do keep getting away with this. This was not the cleanest performance by the Denver Broncos by any means. They'll be the first to tell you that. But they find a way, and that's all important. How did they find a way in this one?
Again, you're not going against this Houston Texans defense. You're not going to win in a shootout. They're just not going to allow you to score 28, 30 points on them. And so you're just going to have to figure out a way. But Bo Nix, again, Sean Payton, again, they are masters of game management, what we have seen so far. You have to give them credit. I know a lot of folks are going to say, man, they've gotten lucky. Eventually, there is some skill that is involved. You are putting yourself in those situations to get lucky if you want to go that route. They have won several close games already this season. The Jets, it was a close game over in London. The Giants, they had no business winning that game a couple of weeks ago. They do it here in Houston, getting that big victory. Credit to them. And again, trade deadline. They're going to look to add, okay? We're right before the trade deadline, so I'm going to tell you, they are looking for a pass catcher. I know they just added Mercedes Lewis, the 41-year-old wonder at tight end. They could add a tight end. They could add another receiver before we get to Tuesday afternoon.
Not everybody that's looking to add is doing best business if they do. And I don't offer that as a critique of a 7-2 team right now, but doesn't necessarily feel like 7-2. You are what your record is.
Right.
But what are the shortcomings of the Broncos right now that leave them in tight games against the quarterback with Davis Mills at the helm for most of the game?
Oh, that's a tough question because they're 7-2. So you know how hard it is to win football games in the National Football League?
Be blessed by 7-2.
Week after week after week. I mean, going back to your earlier question, how did they win this game today? Well, guess what? They held Houston to 3 for 17 on third down. They sacked the quarterback 4 times. So regardless of the lack of explosiveness, the lack of sexiness of this offense and Sean Payton and Bo Nix, whenever you've got a quarterback and a head coach, like you said, who have perfected the art of managing a football game, then you've got a defense with Nick Bonito, Pat Surtain, guys like that who are going to have an impact on the game. Clearly, like the stats I just read, you're going to have a fighting chance in any game, and that's exactly what they're doing. That's how they keep winning.
We sort of knew the good on good in this matchup was defense and defense, 2 of the top units in the league, and you're going to get a final score like this. What jumps off the page in terms of complementary football, the way that either offense was able to complement what the defense was capable of?
I think being part of a Sean Payton team, a Sean Payton system a couple years ago, he's got to be really happy with what they practice showing up on game days. He's situational master. You said it, 2-minute, 4-minute, end of half, end of game, third down. Basically, all of Friday practices when I was part of the Denver Broncos were hitting these situational games. Sean Payton has been here before. He's done it. It doesn't always look pretty, but at the end of the day, they're finding ways to win. And in the NFL, that counts, right? It doesn't necessarily matter how you do it. You just do it. You got to score 1 more point than the other team. The Denver Broncos are doing that right now. And at some point, they're going to have some easy ones, but this is going to benefit them finding a way to win these games.
The late 3 decides this one. Will Lutz, the game winner, as the Broncos improve to 7-2. We'll get some numbers coming out of this one. It's certainly not how you start. Bo Nix looking for that finish, 17 of his final 30 after a spotty start, and we're going to want even better than that. But $170, 2 touchdowns, and no giveaways. Future Hall of Famer J.J. Watt offering thoughts here on the tail end of unexpected for many, J.J. This is the 30th team in total defense this season against the top scoring offense. We're expecting to see maybe fireworks again from Indy, and this defense comes to life. What changed?
Yeah, you come into today and you're looking at the stats and you're seeing Indianapolis, #1 offense in the NFL, potentially one of the most historic offenses in NFL history. And then you see the Steelers reeling, 30th in a whole bunch of different categories, sitting down there near the bottom. And the entire script was flipped today. The Steelers, 6 takeaways, complete story of the day right there. They were just able to take the ball away on special teams, on defense, interceptions, sacks, fumbles. They were able to do it all, put their offense in advantageous positions, and the Colts were never able to recover.
You know, there's going to be a lot of good teams trying to figure out this Colts offense down the stretch. This is a blip on the radar. We've already seen them establish themselves as such a potent running attack, but what can other teams on that Colts schedule take away from what Pittsburgh showed them today?
I mean, I think it's early success. The Colts started the game with a touchdown on their first drive, which was huge. But then after that was when all the chaos started to happen. They had the muff punt. They get the interception, or the T.J. Watt forced fumble recovery, and things just started to kind of go backwards. And they're used to being so efficient. They're used to moving the ball down the field with such ease. But they put their team in some difficult situations and gave the Steelers easier chances to score, which was the most difficult part of the day.
All right, take me into the group text here, because I'm sure little brother comes to big brother for some inspiration at times like these when his defense is going like that. What was the conversation with TJ throughout the week, and how much of an exhale do you think this feels like?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a big exhale for this defense. I mean, those guys in that locker room know. They see the stats. They know the numbers. They know that they've been playing extremely poorly. So to go out there today and put on a performance like that in front of that 2005 Super Bowl team, it just kind of immediately reminded everybody what that Steelers standard is supposed to be like. And I think that doing it against the #1 offense who's doing such incredible things was certainly a statement. Now they have to try and carry that forward and continue it.
He is J.J. Watt, and he is always one call away. Thank you, J.J.
Thank you. Have a great one.
Big time stuff from our guy and big time stuff from the Steelers. You know where to start each and every Sunday. That's with our team. Coach, Matt, JB, and Nate setting the stage each and every Sunday at 12 Eastern. It's the NFL Today on CBS and streaming on Paramount Plus. All right, a look here at Danny Dimes asking for change after this one. Harassed throughout, this pass rush that couldn't get home, found him plenty of times in this one. Daniel Jones, misstep here against the Pittsburgh Steelers. All right, back in studio with the fellas to offer thoughts on both sides of this one, because again, unexpected is the word that comes to mind. Dame, this is what we expected preseason for this top dollar defense. Haven't been getting those performances. Where did you see the difference week over week, where they just came to life? They were around the ball. They were taking it away. What was the difference?
You know, today they just looked like they took ownership over the fact that they were so poorly defensively, the fact that they hadn't executed, the fact that guys like Jalen Ramsey, TJ Watt, Cam Hayward, they hadn't made a real impact for this defense this year. What happens when you take ownership? You fix the problem. And they did that today. The 6 turnovers, we can't go without talking about that. But let me tell you something that's really important that lies between the lines of that 6 turnover performance. What does it do? It takes Jonathan Taylor out of the football game. The league's MVP up until today, they completely eliminated him because they made the Colts play from behind. That's why he ended up with 14 carries for 45 yards. That's not good enough. As good as Daniel Jones has been, as good as this Indianapolis Colts offense has been, the show runs through Jonathan Taylor. It always has, and it always will. They weren't able to get him going today. It was because of the poor play of Daniel Jones and obviously the turnovers.
And everything that this offense wants to do, everything they've been able to do over this first half of the season, it starts with complementary football, right? You just hit it. The Colts today, 2.9 yards per carry. We're used to seeing Jonathan Taylor rip off these massive explosive gains behind this offensive line. When you have 6 turnovers in a game, it's just really, really hard to get any flow, any momentum, any type of consistency going with inside your offense. And you give an offense like
Priced defense for a reason. We finally saw it. Many times this season we have not seen it. We need to see it more. They paid both for games like this and also consistency. So the Pittsburgh Steelers defense is going to need to play like this into December, into January, because we do believe that they're going to be playoff bound. This is a group that also did not tackle well last week. You know, there was a lot of talk about whether they should change the defensive play caller and if the scheme is right. They weren't tackling last week. So that was really the issue. That's nothing that any defensive coordinator is necessarily going to help you out with once you get to the middle part of the season. So that's what I saw from this defense. It was exactly what we expected it to be in August. They have shown it a couple of times. Now we need to see it more consistently. Lastly, I would say on offense, look for the Pittsburgh Steelers to attempt to try their best to add another wide receiver before the Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern trade deadline. I could see a Jacoby Myers. I could see a Rashid Shaheed, someone like that. I believe the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to try to be aggressive to add another receiver because they know, they understand this window they're in right now.
A necessary rebuttal after what we saw on Thursday night as those Baltimore Ravens give chase a massive victory.
Thank you. Thank you.